Guru. I'm Jax, and today we're going to take a look at the next question in our New Year, New Way series. Does your job inspire you? Well, the fact that it's the word job, J-O-B, the acronym for it is just over broke. I don't know. Most people that you talk to about their job, it's not something that they're inspired by. Like I always used to ask people. That's the first question I used to ask people actually when I went to go and talk with someone, and they're in a very fascinating job, just like a ground wire person for a telephone company, or like for a person like myself who works in a call center, or even the local garbage man. I've always asked them, I said, when you were a little kid, did you dream when you were a little boy or girl lying in bed going, I'm going to be a call center operator, or I'm going to be a garbage man, or I'm going to be a ditch digger? Like, I don't know. One of the few people I know that is actually working their passion is my oldest son. When he was little, he used to love excavators. He just loved construction equipment, and we would have to go to drive around the city to find local construction sites, and he would sit there and go, excavator, excavator. Well, last year, he went to school, and I was just not sure if it was last year or not, but it was last year. He went to school to become an excavator operator. And so right now he's in his path of becoming a heavy equipment operator, and that's the career that he wanted. And it's very cool to see someone who was little have a dream and decide what they're going to do and do it. My younger son never had any kind of dream and in regards to what he wanted to do for a job. And we had a conversation the other day that was very upsetting for him, because he's like, Mom, I don't know what I want to do for the rest of my life. And he's sitting there crippled and just frozen. And I went, well, honey, why do you have to have a job for the rest of your life? He goes, well, that's what they keep telling us in career counseling and such, that we need to find a job that we can do for the rest of our life. And I just sat there and I went with him and I went, Morgan, you just need to find a job that you can, or a career or an avenue that you want to make as much money as you can so that you can do whatever you want for the rest of your life. And he went, whoa, I never thought of that. And I'm like, yes, find out what your passion is in regards to what you want to do and use that job to motivate you. And we'll get to that at the end of the conversation. So what is a job? I sat there and I was thinking about what a job is. And most of the complaints that people have when they think of a job. And I thought, well, it's the reason you get up early on a Monday morning, because most of us wouldn't be getting up at that time if we didn't have one. Why we have to dress a certain way. Like, I love to wear leggings, and the job that I'm in right now doesn't allow him. So I had to go out and buy pants because it was part of their dress code. Fight traffic to get there during rush hour. I live in the Pacific Northwest, right? And we're north of Seattle, and I have lived in countries. I have lived in cities where there has been rush hour, but I'm telling you, Seattle rush hour is the worst I've been. Now, I know you folks that are in LA and New York and even Tokyo would argue with me that my traffic is nothing compared to yours, and you're probably right, but for ours, this is our worst case scenario presently. You spend more time there than anywhere else. Have you thought about it, that at least, I'd say about 10 hours of your day is dedicated to your job? You spend more than that on your family or any other part or activity you want to do. Bathroom breaks are not controlled by your body. I was a receptionist where there was no access to the bathroom, and we actually had to wait and call someone in order for us to go. And I'm sitting there thinking, that was the worst job ever, where you had this stress about you couldn't go to the bathroom when you needed to. They never pay you what you're worth. That's the story of my life. Your time is spent doing something you don't want to do. I had this one job where I was doing filing, and I'm sorry, but I could enjoy filing and take some music, but doing it all the time for a long time was just not my thing. Deal with people and their personalities. How many of you have a person at work that you just can't stand, but you have to see there every day and work with every day? Make someone a whole bunch of money that they don't share. When you're in the clerical office like I am, and even say, for instance, for some of you servicemen that work out there, you're doing your job and you're making a fair wage. But if you think about the CEO and how much he makes way more than he pays you. And there's an understanding that it has to go towards the company and stuff. But I guarantee that their lifestyle is more than likely better than yours. Leaving when you want is not an option. Well, how come we can't just go at 11 o'clock when we want to when our work's done? We have to still state for the 8 hours. Or sometimes you want to leave and go to a family event and you can't leave because you have to work overtime. breaks are decided for you in their duration. You can't take a break when you want to necessarily. Like for the job that I'm in now, my break is actually for the time that they tell me. I don't have a choice of what time my break is. Management doesn't know what they're doing. I really haven't been in that situation as much, but I know a lot of people that have very poor management and they just scratch their head and look at the company and like, I can't believe this. Nobody listens to you. You have great ideas and you have great ways of trying to make the company more money, and they're just not listening. Feeling unappreciated. Team members are often backstabbers. That's a very difficult one too, where you're not in an environment where you feel safe or even that you can be yourself because you're afraid that someone's going to stab you in the back. And there's more month at the end of the money. That's a huge one. How many times do you have to stay there and pay rent and you got $12 in your account? I have a girlfriend of mine at work that got her first paycheck, and it took her, 3 weeks because of the time cycle. And you all know that when you start a new job, you don't get paid right away. You sometimes get caught in the wrong pay cycle. And she says, I have $12 to last me 2 weeks. And so there's hundreds of other things that have to go with that as well. And I thought, why do we put ourselves through that? Why do we put ourselves through the job? And I was wondering myself, because I've been in jobs my entire life. There was only one job that I would say that was about as close to a passion as I could have, and that was working at the cat shelter, because I got to be with meow meows all day. And as you can see with some of my videos, I'll have a little Jaws tail that goes across. I have 4 of them right now that we rescued from a shelter, and we plan on getting more. And but the pay was not one that I could live on. Now, if I had enough money that I didn't have to worry about how much I was paid, I would probably still go and volunteer at the shelter, because I just loved being a part of change and being a part of helping those cats adapt to a new life so they could have new homes. But other than that, I'm not inspired by my job. And it really is a job. And a friend of mine was talking to me about how we motivate ourselves when we're in a job. And how do we inspire ourselves? And I sat there and went, how am I supposed to be inspired? And he brought up a good point. He brought up the fact that, well, if you have a dream and you have a chief aim of doing something in your life, you can use your job currently as a way of focusing on what you don't want, which is your job, by then focusing on what you do want. So anytime something comes up in the workplace where you just are just beside yourself, you focus on what you do want, so that you're sending out that frequency to the universe instead of constantly sending out the frequency of what you don't want, because you get what you send out. So if you're constantly sending out stuff that you don't want, guess what you get? More of what you don't want. So my job right now, I am sending out to the universe that I'm going to do the most amazing job, and that I'm going to touch the people's lives so that it can become a stable income for the short term. Because my long-term goal is to do the Common Guru full time. That's what I want to do. I want to change the world, help millions and billions of people, and help them be able to become out of their jobs. And who's going to do the work? I don't know. That part's going to work out. But at least people who want to do the work can do the work, and we can actually be in a world of inspired people. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you have a great day. If you want to find new and exciting ways to connect with the Common Guru, check down in our description box. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.